Welcome back to Action Figure Obsession. It's your old pal Avian and Loaded, and who would win in a race between World War II Captain America riding on a contemporary G.I. Joe Ram cycle, because I didn't keep the motorcycle when I got the figure, and the Baroness on her Cobra coil, COIL, which I'm sure stands for something. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, right? Hey, it's your old pal Avian and Loaded, another edition of Action Figure Obsession. And, when I look back at one of my videos and I have the closed captioning turned on, boy, all the uhs and ums and all kind of weird noises going on there. But, sometimes there's just not enough caffeine in the world. Anyway, I cleared off the bottom shelf of my X-Men tower, my Mutant Madness tower, and trying to figure out what to do with that shelf space, because it was just a sort of a hodgepodge, random assemblage of stuff, one of which was this World War II Captain America on the Ram cycle. And of course, as you know, there probably are better places to put a Captain America here in the toy room. There's probably somewhere that he'd be welcome, brought to you by, somewhere that he could talk to people who've seen some of the same shit that he has, who have, maybe they don't have all the same experiences, but certainly most of them share the same name. Not all of them, but some of them, most of them, Steve Rogers, Captain America, Commander Rogers, Smiley McGee here. Smiley and Frowny McGee. Yeah, the McGee brothers. So this Cap with the motorcycle, I guess my choices are take him off the motorcycle and give it to an actual G.I. Joe character. It originally came with Breaker. I have Breaker on his motorcycle over there in my G.I. Joe display, right there at the center of the screen there. You see Breaker on the top of the G.I. Joe shelf, which amazingly has like 75 figures on it. I don't know how I ever managed that. Most of my shelves only have 50 to 65, but somehow I managed to cram an awful lot of people on there. I think because I'm using bookends for backstops to protect them from falling behind, so that probably gives them a little bit of an advantage. So Captain America's motorcycle that he came with in the Marvel Legends line in the Ultimate Riders series. By the way, this Captain America, at least, was designed by Bobby Valla, who now runs Valaverse and has the Valaverse line of military 6-inch figures. But this is a nice bike, the Ram cycle that they created for G.I. Joe Classified. I think even this goes for a little bit of money now, if I recall correctly. They've only released it in green, I think, just the one time with Breaker. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. There's been an awful lot of G.I. Joe stuff the last couple of years that I have not gone deep on. They've gotten past the period where I really like most of the characters or even are aware of them, so it's much easier to just take a cursory look and move on. But Cap's bike was green in the original Ultimate Riders box set that he was in. And so much, the same shade of green, I think, obviously, OD green, that I, sometimes when looking at this guy, I forget that it's not his motorcycle that he's on, but he looks damn good on it, doesn't he? And this, of course, is Ultimate Captain America from the comic book The Ultimates, back in the late 90s or early 2000s, whenever that came out, by Mark Miller and Brian Hitch. This helmet I used to lose all the time. It would fall off him. And I think, put some sticky tack in there for a while. I don't know why, but maybe he's got a swollen head from the fact that Captain America is so popular in my toy room. But that helmet seems to stay on there pretty good now. Maybe I just found the sweet spot. Haven't lost it in quite some time. And then the Baroness. Now, the Baroness with the Cobra coil. When G.I. Joe Classified first came out, it was in 2020, at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. And there were a lot of distribution issues. I'm not sure if that included the first wave of the 02 Snake Eyes and the 01 Roadblock and Duke and Scarlet. And was there another character in that? Oh, Destro, I think, was in that wave too. But if it didn't have distribution problems with the release of that first wave in early 2020, by the time the Cobra Coil, which I think was a Target exclusive, the Baroness on the Cobra Coil, which was probably a $40 box set if they were, going by the standard at the time. The Baroness was super hard to get, and I think, if I recall correctly, this thing was going for as much as $150, $200 at some point because people were so desperate to have the Baroness in their collections. I don't know that anybody was really excited about the Cobra Coil. I could be wrong, but I mean, it's a snazzy looking bike. I wish the red wasn't so plasticky. I wish they had either used a metallic swirly twirly paint for it or just painted the damn thing, preferably with a metallic paint. I think that would have looked superb. But it's still pretty eye-catching. I mean, it's very toyetic, that's for sure, with the raw red plastic. But the Baroness that I have on here is not the and I think she was number 13 in the line, if I recall correctly, of G.I. Joe Classified. I believe this is the Retro Baroness, which was much easier to get, at least at Walmarts around my area. Back then, all the Retro G.I. Joe figures were Walmart exclusives, unlike today, where you can find them in other places as well. But this, I kept the Baroness that came with this Cobra cycle in my main Cobra display because she had much better paint deco. It just looked like a better figure. I mean, the articulation is shit on both the Retro and the main line. I think number 13 Baroness. It's not a very well articulated figure. No bicep swivel. There's not a whole lot you can do with it other than, sort of vanilla poses, unless you're a much more experienced and advanced poser, I guess, of action figures than I am. But when I saw that the Retro one didn't have as much paint deco on her as the one from the box set with the Cobra Coil, I did swap out the Baroness and put the crappier Retro one on the Cobra Coil. I mean, it looks good, right? I mean, it's crappy is a matter of degrees in this particular case. And I did use the helmet from the box set. So that is the original Baroness helmet that came in the box set with the coil instead of the default Baroness, Retro Baroness head. I just wanted it to look good without giving up the oh, yeah, look at that. The windshield moves. All right, well. I guess I would keep that down so she could see over it for one thing. Oh, and I lost my, did I? Okay. Maybe it just balances really well. And long neck. Maybe I should bring that down a little. Maybe, I don't know what to do about that neck. Holy free holies. The kickstand did go up. Okay. There, that should keep it from falling over a little better. Boy, that neck. I can't get over that. I haven't really looked at this a lot since I, put it together and posed it and put it on it's on the His Tank table with, scrap iron and his missile launchers and, other vehicle related kind of stuff. Yeah. Cobra Coil. I don't know. I was just thinking about, motorcycle figures. I don't have any Ghost Riders with motorcycle. I did have the original Legendary or Ultimate Riders Ghost Rider that came out. I don't know, when was that? 10 years ago, 8 years ago? That first box set that they did with the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. I've had that 2 or 3 times actually, and then I'm not a Ghost Rider fan. I'm a demon on a motorcycle. It doesn't really float my flotilla, if you will. So I inevitably, because that figure and the motorcycle were in such demand, it was hard not to sell it both times that I've had it, just because I'm not a Ghost Rider guy. I mean, I guess wasn't Ghost Rider in the Champions. I guess if I was doing a Champions display, the Champions in the 70s was one of my favorite superhero books because it was in this weird sort of liminal space between the Avengers and the Defenders. Like, it was some A-list characters like Black Widow and a couple of the original X-Men, and who else was in that thing? On the Champions. I can't remember. But at the time, I really, really liked that comic. And I guess I could have put a Champions display together that I would have needed Ghost Rider for. But even then, Ghost Rider just kind of bums me out because it's just so not my thing that it just seems like a lot of work to even find display space for him. Whereas Captain America on a motorcycle, I'll build an extension on the house if I have to. I mean, come on. Let's get our priorities straight here. And no shade if you like Ghost Rider. That's fine, and I totally get it. It's just not a comic I could ever get into. I wasn't really a big fan of any of the Ghost Rider or Son of Satan. I did like Tomb of Dracula in the 70s. I really did enjoy that book when Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan and Tom Palmer were all knocking it out of the park month after month after month for something like 75 or 80 issues. Plus the work that they were doing too in the Dracula magazine at the same time, the adult magazine. It's amazing how much great Dracula stories that they managed to crank out in a relatively short period of time. But anyway, yeah, I cleared off that shelf, and Cap was on that shelf, and I had to dust him off. He was really dusty because he'd been sitting there for a while. And the Baroness was even more dusty because I'm pretty sure she'd been sitting on that table for 6 or 7 years without me ever picking it up or dusting it. And I got to be better about keeping stuff, dust-free. And maybe that would help with my allergies because I do have allergies. But I often blame the cat, but maybe it's just people like the Baroness not bathing themselves regularly and desperately needing me to come along with the feather duster and clean them up. And one nice thing about cleaning action figures that are on motorcycles, holding on to the handlebars with both hands, is that it's really easy to dust them pretty extensively without disturbing their poses. So there's a little there's a little behind the scenes secret. So now I got to figure out what to do with that empty shelf at the bottom of my X-Men tower. I don't know. I guess I should do something X-Men related with it, and I probably have enough X-Men figures just on this work table alone that I could figure something out. But on the other hand, it's such a random assortment of mutants and X-Men that I don't know. Just having them all stand around on the shelf is going to look like what it is, which is just a desperate shelf of sort of orphan, wayward characters. And really, if this work table isn't that and isn't for that, then my God, what is it for? It's for the dream. For the dream, says Captain America. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up on it. If you hated it, thumb it down. Thumb it down. Go ahead, thumb it down. If you have any questions or comments or anything you'd like to share, contribute, feel free to leave a comment. I will leave a heart on all comments. And share the video if you know anybody who you think might like this kind of nonsense. And if you do know people who like this kind of nonsense, maybe get out of the house more. I don't know what to tell you. If you subscribe to the channel for more of this, as I said, nonsense, feel free to do that and hit the notification bell so that you find out the next time that I am thinking out loud about my collection and trying to figure out what the hell to do with all this stuff. I mean, my goodness. Well, I know what I'm going to do with this stuff. I'm going to finish drinking it, and that'll hopefully get me through the afternoon. But the rest of this stuff, no idea. Well, the Baroness, she's going back on the His Tank table over in the G.I. Joe classified section. And Cap, I got to find a place for here on the table. Will I take him off the bike so he can just stand around with the rest of the Caps? Or will he be unique on his bike, on his motorcycle, on his Ram cycle, I should say. What am I saying? Thanks again for stopping by. I always appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with me here on Action Figure Obsession. And I will see you on the next one.